One of the things that is really interesting is when you talk to people who've had senior roles at Ferrari and have then left the team, they'll talk to you about the fact that from the outside, people have no idea the pressure that you feel when you're at Ferrari. You've got I've talked to people who've worked at Red Bull, worked at McLaren, ended up at Ferrari in senior roles, and said nothing prepares you for the level of scrutiny and therefore the level of pressure that the team feels, and then the impact that that has on almost making you tighten up. You're afraid to take risks. If you like, there's not quite the kind of entrepreneurial risk taking that you might get in a Toto Wolff run Mercedes or a Christian Horner run Red Bull, where again we're all racers. They're racers at Ferrari, but they have a whole level of pressure on their shoulders, which I think sometimes just burdens them a little bit, and you feel that they just seize up at moments where perhaps, and I'll call it the British teams, the teams based in the UK who have got perhaps a broader talent base within their organizations, just sometimes they seem to have a little bit more freedom. And I think that's where, you just see Ferrari slightly tighten, and no wonder Charles is upset.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Charles then, since you brought it up, Mark. I was going to see if we could just gloss over and move on to something less contentious. But let's look at the bright side first of all. The silver lining to the cloud is that it's the first time he's actually finished at the Monaco circuit, having failed to finish in 2 Formula 2 races and 3 Formula 1. So he's not, and he did get his 14th pole, didn't he, yesterday? How's he feeling now? And what do you think? Actually, we've got quite an amusing tweet, another one from WTF1. I think we're going to show you now with an image that of it's not actually obviously Leclerc rushing off to see his team strategist.
God, love that. The famous Michael Spa '98 photograph. David Coulthard talks often about the fact that he kept his helmet on that day because he knew Michael was going to whack him. Charles will be he'll be properly annoyed. He'll be really, really disappointed with not converting pole into the win on his home track. You're absolutely right, Matthew. He'll be happy to have gotten the finish, grab a decent few points, but he'll be looking at the Drivers' Championship standings and reflecting on the fact that Sergio Perez is now 6 points behind him. He's actually got Perez closer to him than he is to Max, and it's extraordinary the way in which the championship is now pivoting Red Bull's way. Basically every race Max finished, he won. And now this weekend when Max didn't win, Sergio won. And so Charles isn't even picking up the win when Max doesn't win the race. And worse than that, he's not even on the podium. So he will be properly annoyed. There has to be a sense now as we reach the end of May, a third of the championship effectively done, that the trend is not a good one. For Ferrari versus Red Bull. And whatever's happening with Mercedes, whether they're beginning to get their house in order or not, the simple fact is that Ferrari seem to be slightly dipping at a moment where Red Bull are coming on strong with both drivers now having won Grand Prix.
Don't you think that actually the Red Bull car has been the fastest since the beginning of the season, Alex, and it's the reliability that's got in the way, no?
No, I don't think so. I actually think, yes, the reliability got in the way for Leclerc at the last race in Barcelona. But Ferrari definitely picked Barcelona, definitely picked a quicker car here in Monaco in normal conditions. And they should have converted both, and they didn't. Now we go to the next 4 races, which are definitely Red Bull tracks. And the Red Bull could be gone. If Verstappen wins 4 races on a trot, that championship looks very, very different. So, and at the moment, you can see the constructors standing right now, Red Bull looking really good with the Perez bringing the points. We talked about at the beginning of the year, it really depended on how the number 2 drivers would do, would determine how that championship would go. And right now, Red Bull's number 2 drivers bring the bacon home, shall we say. And that's why they're looking quite comfortable there. Mercedes there in P3 is pretty good. And then that battle for fourth is going to be a great battle, and I'm going to enjoy watching the battle for fourth for the rest of the season. But it's really tough for Ferrari because they need to find a solution to the straight line speed that at the very end of the straight, because we got long straights coming out. It's not just horsepower tracks, because Ferrari horsepower is fine, but it's the drag at the end of the straights which is killing them. And if Ferrari don't have a fix for that, these next four races are going to go Red Bull's way.